is all a scam. Well, now we're in a position where these leaders are taking us into places that are as dangerous as any of the country's ever been in. And I think you're seeing a whole media, not just Letterman, grapple with how do we get away from year after year of kind of an ironic, wink, don't take it seriously approach to everything.
You're putting news organizations in that category too.
Well, news organizations, I think, yes, because news organizations have decided, many of them, I think the cable news networks actually are a little different, that real news, nobody cares anymore. Nobody cares about politics, nobody cares about foreign policy, God knows. So let's package news with an entertainment scam. Let's turn our hour-long magazine shows, with some exceptions like 60 Minutes, let's turn them into basically entertainment. Let's put in music, let's do true crime, let's do Are You Eating at a Salad Bar of Death, and let's try to do a lot of celebrities, preferably scandalized celebrities. I think a lot of people are looking now, in the media particularly, and saying, what, we can't do this anymore. The life of the country is at stake. And I think it's going to be very tricky moving from this kind of nothing matters, relax, there's no big issues left, to saying now you really have to pay attention, you have to take stuff seriously.
I've used the phrase from fluff news to tough news, but this is about as tough as it gets.
Yeah, and I think that's actually a pretty good headline for what I think a lot of organizations are groping toward. The question is, we've also been feeding the public. It's a vicious cycle. The public has been telling us, we're bored with the important stuff, and the news media and entertainment have said, okay, we'll give you other stuff. The real crisis we'll show you is Survivor. Fear factor. You want to call something fear factor? It has a very different ring today. And it's going to take all of us, the public and the media, some time, I think, to find our legs in this whole new...
Disguised as passengers that would fly on flights to protect planes against hijacking. That's moving along very fast now. In fact, they've already begun training for that at the FAA's Technical Center in Atlantic City, New Jersey. This is Robert Hager, NBC News at Dulles Airport outside Washington.
Attorney General John Ashcroft today saying they can't confirm whether there might have been a fifth potential hijacking, one that was planned for last Tuesday. They don't rule it out, but they can't confirm it. But we have received a lot of nuggets of information regarding the investigation, what officials have found out in just the week since the attacks. This item comes from WDIV in Detroit. They are reporting that last night federal investigators went to pick a potential suspect or someone up, a man up. He wasn't there. There were 3 people, and according to WDIV, investigators found fake Social Security cards, U.S. visas, U.S. immigration cards. They also, according to this report, found fake Sky Chef badges. Sky Chef is one of the catering companies that often supplies airlines. They pull up the big trucks to the airplanes and load on food to the airplanes. They apparently also found a day planner with sketches of the Detroit airport and some foreign airports. The 3 men told the investigators, according to WDIV, that they work for Sky Chef. No one has confirmed if they in fact work there. They have been charged in federal court. Right now, the only charge they're facing is conspiracy to possess false documents. How that fits in the overall picture, we won't even speculate. We can tell you that this is the first mention of Detroit in connection with this story. As you know, the hijacked flights originated in Washington, Boston, and Newark. But again, we bring that report from our affiliate in Detroit, WDIV. Now, the U.S. government has, of course, put Osama bin Laden on notice. We think you're the guy, we're coming after you. But will they be able to find him? For more on all that, let's turn to NBC's chief legal correspondent, Dan Abrams. Dan?
Well, Lester, you mentioned a moment ago that we're getting in a lot of nuggets, and earlier today a very interesting one, and that was that Mohammed Atta, one of the suspected hijackers, allegedly met with some Iraqi intelligence officials. Let's check in with NBC's investigative producer, Bob Windrum, who has been covering terrorism for NBC for years. Bob, what do we know about Mohammed Atta's meeting with any Iraqi officials?
Well, first of all, it was only one Iraqi official. Within the last several days, U.S. intelligence has got information about a meeting that took place sometime this year, not within the last couple of months, I'm told, and somewhere in Europe. Officials will not tell us specifically where. But while they believe it's probably true, as they said to me today, quote unquote, they have not yet entirely confirmed it. So they still have some checking to do. And it isn't something new because obviously Vice President Cheney said on Meet the Press that there was no indication of any involvement with Iraq.
All right, now Bob, let's put this into context for a moment. We are demanding that the Afghans turn over Osama bin Laden. But it's really not based on what happened here. I mean, certainly that's the reason we're moving forward now. But there is another reason that we can provide what they're calling for proof. They say we want proof that Osama bin Laden was involved. The embassy bombings trials become relevant, right?
Right. I mean, you had 8,000 pages of testimony in the embassy bombing case, more than 1,000 exhibits in the embassy bombing case. And the trial record there shows some very, very specific evidence of Osama bin Laden being directly in contact with the bombers. There were 2 phone calls placed from bin Laden's cell phone on the morning of the bombings on August 7th, 1998. 2 phone calls from bin Laden to the house where the bombers were preparing to leave to bring the bomb to downtown Nairobi to blow up the embassy. There's other information in there about essentially a switchboard in Yemen where the bombers would call in, and then shortly thereafter there would be a call to bin Laden's satellite phone. So there is specific evidence linking bin Laden. And then finally, there was testimony that bin Laden himself, who was trained as a civil engineer, picked out the very place that he thought would be the most damaging to the embassy. Put the bomb here, he said, according to the testimony.
But this could be a potential problem, right? I mean, if we know that's out there, there have been these convictions in that trial, and bin Laden was considered part of the conspiracy in that case, you know, the Afghan government may come forward and say, hey, wait a second, we're concerned that this guy's going to be railroaded. In effect, he's already been convicted without him having even been there for the trial.
Well, first of all, you know, you have to place your faith in the American justice system.